Oftentimes when we're in the midst of the off-season in any sport, it's easy for us to forget as fans that the players are human beings, too. They're not just people who are signing with teams for no other reason than to just win a championship. Sure, that's a huge part of it. But there are often so many more underlying reasons players make the free agency decisions they make. Dansby Swanson had one of the sweetest reasons you'll ever hear. Swanson made the jump from his hometown team of the Atlanta Braves to the Chicago Cubs this offseason. It seemed to be a weird decision considering he seems like a guy who loved playing for his hometown team. But there was another reason he signed with the Cubs, and it was so touching. It was to form a new, special connection with his grandfather who recently died.
And I've kept telling everyone that it's more personal to me. So Mallory and I got married December 10th. The next morning we found out that my grandfather was not doing so well, that he was in hospice. And so we pretty much left our wedding venue the next morning, drove home, and basically had to rush over to the senior living facility where he was at. And we were, gosh dang it. So he ended up passing away on the day after we got married. And the one thing that just always stood out was he lived across the yard from my parents and I and my brother and sister.
That, alone, is just gut-wrenching. Losing a loved one the day after you get married is unimaginable. Going through that had to be incredibly difficult for the Swanson family. But here's why him being a Cub means so much. He continued.
And so every day when I would come home from school, I would run up to his house. I'd run in and pretty much like demand that he come outside and hit me ground balls, which he would always do. But every time I walked in, he would have a Cubs game on. Back when it was on WGN. And I can't look at my parents. He would have a Cubs game on, and I was always like, Pops, we're in Atlanta, dude. Like, we're Braves fans. And it was just something, he loved baseball so much, and all he ever wanted me to be was doing what I'm doing now. So having won a championship in Atlanta for one of his favorite teams, we just felt that the Cubs, which were his second favorite team, that bringing a championship to this city was just what we have felt called to do. So to be able to play for two of my grandfather's two favorite teams means literally like the world to me. So thank you, and I'm glad I got through that without crying. So thank you.
What an amazing story. So many fans were moved by this.